All right, Tony Katz, I want to get back to Terry Moran. Brian Stelter from CNN, by the way, broke the news that Terry Moran was out. Technically, they're claiming that his contract was up. Perfect timing. But to this day, ABC News, which has plenty of time to comment about everything else, hasn't said a word about Terry Moran. I want to take you down a quick memory lane of Terry Moran's greatest hits to put this in context. Take a look.
I like to say that in some ways, Barack Obama is the first president since George Washington to be taking a step down into the Oval Office. I mean, from visionary leader of a giant movement, now he's got an executive position that he has to perform in.
The question you can sense on everyone's mind as they listen so intently to him, is he the one? Is Barack Obama the man, the black man, who could lead the Democrats back to the White House? Around here, they're even naming babies after him.
In 2016, Bernie Sanders changed the Democratic Party. He made democratic socialism cool for millions of voters. Bottom line, Roe versus Wade is overruled. There is no constitutional right to an abortion. Let's not mince words. Women will die because of this ruling. This is a court not of judges, but of politicians in judges' robes. Fight for Trump, not fight for America. He has the Republican Party as a personalized power like we haven't seen. It's a caudillo, it's a Caesar, it's a Führer. We don't see that in this country. We do now. It's much more like sometimes you see in other countries, an authoritarian figure, maybe who has crossed the line of legality, still with an army of supporters. And that, in fact, the White House at this point is a laughingstock.
That's right.
In the capitals of Europe.
Looking to shore up shrinking support with the white voters he needs to recapture the White House, the president boasted about rolling back an Obama-era fair housing rule, stirring racist fears.
This is why he was sent here, by people who want to hear that message of America first. However, it carries with it overtones from the 1930s when an anti-Semitic movement saying we don't want to get involved in Europe's war. It's the Jews' fault in Germany. Charles Lindbergh led them. It is a term, as he defined it his way, but the words themselves carry very ugly echoes in our history.
Tony, he went full Acosta. So he released a video, I guess this morning, and he says that he's an independent journalism, and here's what he's going to focus on. Let me just play you this and then get you to respond.
Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Moran, and for almost 28 years, I was a reporter and anchor for ABC News. And as you may have heard, I'm not there anymore. I'm here with you on Substack, this amazing space, and I can't wait to get at it, to get at the important work that we all have to do in this time of such trouble for our country. I'm going to be reporting and interviewing and just sharing with you and hoping to hear from you as well. So it'll be a few days, maybe a little bit longer. Got to get some stuff sorted out, but can't wait to see you. Thanks.
Tony, I love the way he phrased that. I'm no longer there. It's like basically I got fired.
Right. So brave. So incredibly brave. First, that is not going full Acosta. To go full Acosta, you got to get the glasses. You got to have the glasses. You have to create the look like if Rachel Maddow and Keith Olbermann had a love child, that would be you. That's
God!
No, that's right. Sear it into your memory. That's what you're going to think about. And then get the Dream Beam stuff from Sean Spicer. See if you can sleep through that one right there.
No, I don't even think Beam's Dream Powder can get you through that.
The fundamental story here is exactly how many people can they get at Substack. This is not me attacking Substack by any in any way. Good on them. Keep growing, keep building all these other platforms. What you're doing on Two-Way, you guys, and everything else, fantastic. The first, this is all good stuff. But exactly how many people are paying for the Terry Moran product? And to that end, if it wasn't for the fact that he was on ABC and he was surrounded by these fellow travelers of Obama idolaters, who actually was truly paying attention enough to know who was the voice engaging in this nonsense? That's the part that's kind of fascinating, that Acosta is able to gather any audience. Jennifer Rubin and Norm Eisen get any audience. Maybe there is, maybe it does exist. Maybe there's an opportunity here. But your argument is he can't even admit to what he did. I can see the hate in Stephen Miller's eyes. That's what he said. He feeds on it. it's as gross of a statement as is out there, and only somebody who's truly broken makes that statement. So I got to assume that there are some people who want him. I can't imagine there's enough to make him say, wow, drop it, screwing myself out of the ABC gig really made good sense.
Well, Caroline, Downey, the thing is, first of all, Stephen Miller, he said, eats hate. Now, I'm going to send Stephen a bag of masa chips so that he eats something with only 3 ingredients and no more of that hate, because he needs to get something better. That's going to cause inflammation. So just as an true.
Just look at Rosie O'Donnell.
But to Tony's point, I don't think like this. Terry Moran is acting like this was a choice. I'm now here with you. I don't know that anyone will pay for it. That's, to Tony's point, because that's what, I have a Substack at SeanSpicer.com. You can go right now. It's a great Father's Day gift. But the difference is that Terry didn't have a choice. I think Substack's great. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's an amazing source and platform for free speech. But Terry's acting like somehow I didn't get fired and I chose to do this. He got fired because he said he went through a crazy tweet at 12:06 a.m. on a Saturday night. I'm not judging what happened, but who knows?
Even the awkward format of how he's delivering this announcement doesn't seem like that departure was voluntary. That's the impression. But I will say, Terry Moran is about as independent as Karine Jean-Pierre. This rebranding that all of these people are doing is a total crock. They were in the tank for Democrats for a very long time, and now they're expecting the public to believe that they are neutral and objective. And honestly, it's a power play and it's a profit play, because if you take this other lane, and we've seen it across the media ecosystem, you can convince people that you're trustworthy. And it's kind of this like sexy model of doing journalism now where I'm not like them and I'm not like them. I'm somewhere in between. It's like, okay, but let's be real. At least with Terry Moran, you've been masquerading as a real reporter for a very long time. And with the Stephen Miller attacks, this is when I think the whole lie of legacy media, again, was blown up for everyone to see. He's saying Stephen Miller is hateful. Stephen Miller is only hateful to the elite Washington swamp creatures that have contempt for the American people. Stephen Miller is a champion of everyone but the media class and the Washington elite that, again, with the illegal immigration issue, would mass import an unvetted population that will displace many Americans. And again, the people who are proposing that type of thing in Washington, the progressives, they will never suffer the consequences of it. So Stephen Miller, he's an attack dog. No doubt about it. Every administration needs an attack dog, and he's going to bat for the American people. So he's hateful to a very small percentage, and that's good.
Batya, Caroline Levitt got in on the act of pushing back against the media, which I love. I want to play you this clip from the briefing yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. But you got to listen to how she ends this thing. Take a listen.
So much, Caroline. The president warned that any protests on Saturday would be met with force. Can you clarify what kind of protest President Trump does support or find acceptable?
The president absolutely supports peaceful protests. He supports the First Amendment. He supports the right of Americans to make their voices heard. He does not support violence of any kind. He does not support assaulting law enforcement officers who are simply trying to do their job. It's very clear for the president what he supports and what he does not. Unfortunately for Democrats, that line has not been made clear, and they've allowed this unrest and this violence to continue, and the president has had to step in.
What question? So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the militant parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question. Raquel.
Batya! She said the quiet part out loud. What a stupid question.
That's hilarious. I'll make 3 quick points. The first is I have 2 rules for myself when it comes to using Twitter. Never drink and tweet. I'm saying this apropos of nobody, certainly not Terry Moran.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Right. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. And also,
we all feel
the other
guilty
one is,
right now.
The secret killer is not drinking and tweeting. It's like when you get off the Stairmaster and you've just burned 1 billion calories and you're like high on endorphins. That also bad time to tweet. just, people are I think a lot of people know you shouldn't tweet it, but tweeting at the gym can also be very bad. The second is,
write that one down.
This idea that he now is going to start the Substack, it reflects this kind of narcissism. Like, what service does he think he is providing? What is Terry Moran's unique window into this that we all need another anti-Trump, pro-Democrat Substack? It's a problem that plagues the elites of the Democratic Party and the media, where it's not about providing a service to the American people. It is just about you, me. Kamala Harris has this problem. She's like the Ur version of this problem, where it's like, well, why do you want this job? What service do you want to provide the American people? She has no clue. It's just that she wants the job. And the third thing I'll make really quickly is my first book was called Bad News: How Woke Media is Undermining Democracy. Also a great Father's Day gift. And it's really basically the argument I made in the book, based on a history of American journalism, is that the reason our media is so bad is not even just because it's so left, which of course it is. It's left because the journalists themselves are part of the elites. Journalism used to be a working class trade. 1 in 3 journalists had a college degree in the 30s. You became a journalist because you wanted to provide a service to your working class neighbors. Today, the vast majority of journalists are in the top 10%. They go to fancy universities with the children of billionaires. Their children are in school with the children of the ultra wealthy people in the Senate and in Congress. They have class solidarity with the elites. And that's why somebody like Terry Moran exists. It's because he's utterly divorced from the reality of American life.
But to that point, this is the point that David Mamet makes in the book, The Secret Knowledge, that the political left believes that they are imbued with knowledge from high above, although they don't believe in God. And it's their job to spoon feed that to you, to pat you on the head. Barry Weiss's resignation letter to the New York Times spells that one out as well, that they believe at the New York Times that they are knowledge and their job is to bring it to you. It's Anthony Fauci. I am the science. It's the same mathematics. And of course it plays into Terry Moran. And if you want a great book for Father's Day, get my book, Let's Go Barbecue, Recipes, Tips, and Tales from the Pit, available at Amazon.com. I mean, if we're all just selling.
Caroline, do you have a book?
Am I the only one? I'm Gen Z. I'm just here for fun.
Is that the Gen Z thing? Like, we don't do books?
Honestly, like, I'm working on an idea, but I'm just, I'm trying to learn from you guys before.
I think what she meant, Sean, is that she's young and beautiful. She has the skin, like, we're like, oh, we got our books, but Caroline is living her best life.
Speaking of ancestral knowledge, I have a long way to go to get that before I can start, making opinions in books. Like, I think I need to learn.
No.
All you need is in a dream.
Yeah. All right. I always end Thursdays with winners and losers, and I want to tee it off because there's a lot to get through today. Caroline, I'll lead off with you. Who do you think won the week and who lost the week?
I think, honestly, all of the ICE agents that have put their lives on the line and have dealt with all of these protests and the unrest in the streets while they're trying to do their job. That's the big thing. They're just trying to do their job. I think they're the winners for dealing with that. And Trump is obviously trying to protect them right now in California as they carry out his mandate, which was mass deportations, which was a cornerstone of his campaign platform, and according to the polls at the time, were popular among Democrats and Republicans.
And then who lost?
Who lost? Terry Moran. Terry Moran, I think it was just such an inflammatory statement toward Stephen Miller. And I thought it was...
Any other week, he'd be getting so much more attention. That's unbelievable. Yeah. Batya, who do you have this week for winners and losers?
I'll start with the loser, which I think is Gavin Newsom. If he was trying to position himself in this moment as the chief #resistance to Trump and a 2028 contender, I think he really bungled it. The one thing the Democrats need to learn in order to be competitive again is like immigration. And he was supposed to be the moderate, and he positioned himself against Trump, obstructing a very popular policy. The winner is tied to that. I think the winner is J.D. Vance. And the reason I say that is because I think Vance is very vulnerable on abortion. I don't think until this week, I would have said, I don't think he can win a general election just because the only things we've ever heard him say about abortion is that he would love a national abortion ban. And I think that the GOP and Republicans fundamentally underestimate how important it was that Trump neutralized the issue of abortion by effectively coming out in support of exceptions. He promised again and again to veto a national abortion ban, and he really sidelined Project 2025 specifically on this issue. So I think that that's a weakness that people are not necessarily taking seriously. But this week, I mean, if the best the Democrats have to offer is someone like Gavin Newsom, I mean, the ads will just write themselves. And so to me, I'm looking at that and thinking, okay, well, if the choice is between Newsom and JD, I'm feeling like he has a better chance after what I saw this week.
Yeah, I think you're right. Anybody has. Well, I won't get on the abortion issue, but I do think that basically a rock has a better chance than anyone on the Democratic field. Tony Katz, who do you have this week?
I told you it was foreshadowing, and I'm coming back to it.
I knew it.
Let's feel the victory cigar right there. The Indiana Pacers are the winners, taking 2-1 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Matherin with 27 off the bench. TJ McConnell, 10 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. First person to do that ever in the NBA Finals coming off the bench. Spectacular victory. I need the Pacers to take it in 5, but I'll take it in 6. And as for the loser, again, I go a little bit in a different direction. I don't know if you're familiar with a guy by the name of Skip Bayless, who considers himself a pretty fancy sports guy out there in the world. He had made the prediction that the Oklahoma City Thunder would win it in 4. And then when they lost game 1, he decided Oklahoma City Thunder would win it in 5. Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Bayless is the Jim Cramer of CNBC of sports. Don't listen to a word that man says. If he tells you it's selling out, go get yourself an umbrella. Go Pacers, yes, sirs.
All right. There were a lot of people that could be losers this week. I thought Simone Biles walking it back, her attack on Riley Gaines. Mm-hmm. But I went to a foreign place for this. Let me show you my loser of the week. Go.
Which is very worrying because people were not being treated well. I was not able to say goodbye to people, and I don't know what's happening. And there were many issues.
When you say they're not treated well, what do you mean?
Well,
could you elaborate for us?
Obviously in a very dehumanizing way. But of course, I have to stress nothing compared to what Palestinians are going through.
But still, can you give us some, what happened to you when you arrived in Ashdod port? I mean, were you taken off the boat? Was there any violence? Were you detained? How? Where?
No, I prefer not to go into details about that. We arrived there, we were detained, and then we were,
So as you can see, my loser of the week, Greta Thunberg, who was under attack. It was pretty embarrassing. She gets asked about this little fake PR stunt, and she says it was very dehumanizing. When they asked her about why, she said, because I didn't get to say goodbye to anybody. Now, I do understand that. That, to me, if you can't say goodbye to people after a PR stunt, I get it. So my loser of the week, Greta Thunberg. My winner of the week, and again, I think there's a lot this week. I agree with, at least associate myself with Caroline in this. I think the ICE folks and the Trump administration. But I think that the U.S. Army, as a Navy guy, I can say this. They're the winner. I hope tomorrow they have a great celebration. I hope that more people can take the time to actually celebrate the sacrifice and service. That everybody wants to make this about Trump, except for Trump. He hasn't said a word about his birthday or anything else, just honoring the service of so many people. And I hope it stays that way. Thank you to the U.S. Army. By the way, that doesn't mean that I don't want equal billing for the Navy and the Marine Corps later this year in Philadelphia. I just figured if I can say nice things about the Army now, I can say it then. Anyway, guys.
Go Army beat Navy.
Whatever. Anyway. Whatever. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.